Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Eel Pit. I haven't said that intro in a while. How are you doing? How are you doing today? Before I get started with the chatting, where's my Twitch chat? Hang on. Twitch chat. Why you like this? Twitch chat. What did I use this on? What was this? Oh, god damn it. Okay, before I get started on that, we are reading part 4 of the airplane extras. So if you know, you know. It's getting into it. We're gonna be starting on the bottom of page 214. And yeah, Scummy Sunday. Happy Scummy Sunday, everyone. Hope you had some good holidays. If not, so sad, but you know what? There's always next year, and things change drastically within a year. If I know anything, it means I know that things change so fast, for the better or for the worse. Who knows? You can tell I'm not really an optimist or a pessimist. I think I'm a good in between, honestly. Did I do this on Stream Elements? Sorry, I'm trying to get my Twitch chat back up because that's stupid. Where is my thing? Overlays? No, I didn't do this one. No, it wasn't this. Streamlabs? Hang on. There it is. Once I logged into there. Yay! Hi, Nix. How you doing? I wanna kiss a kitty, and tell her. By the way, whenever I start singing that song, I start it in a way lower octave key. It's actually more like, I wanna kiss a kitty, but I don't want to do that every time, so. Yay, that worked. And I will once again apologize to YouTube chat for not having you up here, but it's a lot of work to do that. But I will be looking. I will be looking, staring into your soul. Don't worry, nothing escapes me. That's not true. Some things escape me, especially during reading streams, because I'm looking at the pages. So it's fucking hot. 36 wait, 36. Which one is that? Fahrenheit, Celsius? Which one is the... Okay, hang on. Which one's the American one? Which one's the rest of the world? If it's hot, that's hot. That's really hot. Oh my god, you're not chilling. You're chilling your sweat, maybe. God damn. I want to say first and foremost that my stomach is not feeling the best right now. However, it's because I had coffee earlier today. I had coffee in the morning because I need to wake up earlier. It doesn't matter. Not sweating. I got a fan directly next to my bed. Nice. Wait, are you trying to sleep right now? Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. Being hot when you're sleeping is the worst. Anyway, my speaking voice is probably going to be a bit softer today because of my internal discomfort. But I'm okay. I'm like good enough to do this, but we'll see how long we last. Bodies are weird. 1 p.m. Oh, that's not late. Anyway, I hope you can relax a little bit with this reading stream. Hope you can have fun. If you're new here, we just have fun here. It's gonna get dramatic, but in a fun way. In a really fun way, okay? Okay. Should we get started? Shall we? I'm gonna drink some tea. I don't know if that's gonna be worse for me or better, but we'll see. It's lemon ginger tea, and I only drink this when I'm like hurting, when I'm ill, I suppose. So I think I kind of associate it with that, which is not very good. Okay, it's not bad. All right, let's get started now. Part 4. In the end, it was still a whole ruckus. As Shang Qinghua had planned in his outline, Maigu Ridge exploded into a mass of flying sand and countless pieces of rubble, with roiling smoke and clouds of billowing dust. That's a beautiful sentence. Moreover, he performed a heroic feat on the way and saved Mo Beijun, who didn't know how to fly. When he grabbed that hand of Mo Beijun's in midair, Shang Qinghua could clearly see the astonished disbelief in his eyes. Understandable. Mo Beijun undoubtedly held a firm belief that Shang Qinghua hung by his side solely to protect his own pathetic little life, and the human's sole uses were, at most, flattery, boasting about him, and a target for venting his anger or whatnot. And if they ever met any real danger, Shang Qinghua would definitely be the first to run to save his own ass. To be honest, Shang Qinghua himself had also held this firm belief. He dared say he was even more astonished, even more disbelieving than Mo Beijun. Ever since then, perhaps because he had earned merit protecting his master and had performed well, his wages, material benefits, treatment, and so forth had all improved, and he was also permitted to return to Sangchong Mountain and visit his old home. Yue Qingyuan, the great philanthropist, sorry, let all bygones be bygones, and even permitted him to return to Anding Peak, as well as to continue holding the title of Peak Lord. These past few days in the leisure house, Shang Qinghua had, for the first time, truly been leisurely, to the point of agitation. After munching on half a kilogram of melon seeds, he suddenly realized that the system hadn't made a peep in quite a while. For once, Shang Qinghua took the initiative to poke it. The system gave him an earth-shattering response. Objective completed. Downloading return home function. Shang Qinghua was speechless. After a moment, he began to furiously shake the system's non-existent shoulders. Objective completed? Return home function? What return home function? Is it the one I'm thinking of? Huh? Oh, great system. This is the first time you said so many words. Can you say a few more? I'm begging you, quick! Basic completion of Proud Immortal Demon Way's original outline achieved. Slight deviation in romantic plotline. Objective complete. Retrieving function to return to original world. Download complete. Activate return home sequence. Basic completion of the original outline. That he agreed with. All the holes that needed to be filled had been filled. All but yours. But this slight deviation of romance plot wasn't quite right. Binga was now fully gay. How could you say that was a slight deviation? Fine. In fact, in his original outline, Binga hadn't even had a romance plotline. He had been doomed to fade away, alone and unaging forever. For what? Shut up. Sorry, I'm putting pieces together that you don't know yet, but I know because of the extra extras after this book. Oh my god. If you insisted on adding a why do I keep saying romance? Romance partner. I'm your romance partner. If you insisted on adding a romance plotline, alright, that was whatever. So putting aside all the system's rambling, this meant he could return to his original world? Tears streamed down Shang Qinghua's face. He hadn't written in so long. He reminisced about his airplane shooting towards the sky account, with its fans and haters equally matched, reminisced about that crowd of trolls in the comments section, reminisced about the rich benefactors who'd given him tips, reminisced about that laptop he had used since his first year of university, eternally crashing and screwing him over, and the giant video files on the hard drive of, you understand. And then there was And then there was the spectacular pile of boxes and boxes of instant noodles between his swivel chair, the newest flavor of which he hadn't yet gotten the chance to taste after buying it at wholesale price. A dialog box popped up from the system. Function download complete. Activate? 2 differently colored buttons followed. Yes, maybe next time. Shang Qinghua had a powerful urge to press the red button on the left, but something stopped his hand. On the left is the yes one. But something stopped his hand. As it happened, he didn't really have any family on the other side. His parents had divorced early, each going their separate ways, and they had both made all new families for themselves long ago. He occasionally got together with them for a meal, but no matter which side it was, he regularly felt that his presence was extremely obtrusive. As he politely picked up food and politely gave them subservient smiles, the meals would be even more formal than they would have been if he were eating with real strangers. I'm sorry, I'm just crying a little bit about him, just a little bit, and the extras and Shang Fei. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I love him. Even though his father was his legal guardian, when they weren't face to face, they didn't have contact other than a few phone calls on the New Year and holidays, or when his father asked him if he needed money. Sometimes his father would even forget to ask that, but Shang Qinghua never reminded him. No matter where he was, or who he was talking with, or who he was talking to, all he did was smile that familiar, subservient smile. He was an adult, after all. His parents still had to pay his university tuition, but it was up to him to find ways to pay for the rest of his expenses. It was when he was thinking of such ways that he happened to register for an account on Zhongdian and began to write. At the beginning, it was purely to vent. And he wrote whatever and however he wanted. Though the stories were unbearably shitty and even struggled to get monetized, he did manage to get good reviews from a niche crowd. At one point, it suddenly occurred to him to change his style and see if he could rescue his subscription numbers, which had dipped so low that the website editors had long since lost interest in asking after them. Thus arrived the instant hit. Proud Immortal Demon Way. Airplane shooting towards the sky had achieved supreme enlightenment. He had found his way, in quotations. The more he wrote, the more of a shut-in he became, and the more of a shut-in he became, the more he wrote. As a classic, worthless otaku, the people with whom he had the best relationships and got along with were all on the internet, oceans and seas apart. He basically didn't have any friends like Mo Beidun, and it would be very hard to find any again in the future. Wait, Mo Beidun? A friend? Since when had he started seeing Mo Beidun as a friend? Shang Qinghua scared himself with the thought, and he hurriedly grabbed another sack of Chansao Peak's specially produced dragon bone cantaloupe seeds and binged another half of it to push down his fright. Then he went to sleep. When Mo Beidun dragged him off on Ding Peak to the northern border of the demon realm, blankets and all, he had just finished his melon seeds and was dreaming, mouth full of salt. He dreamed he was devouring these promised kilos of shit. Those promised kilos of shit. Oh yeah. He was frozen awake. Mo Beidun tossed him to the ground, straight into the knife-like snowy winds of the northern border. His silhouette and expression were more severe than ever. Though Mo Beidun was quite cool, very cool, Shang Qinghua was already too frozen to have any time to spare on enjoying his coolness. His tongue started icing over as soon as he opened his mouth to grovel, so he obediently shut his lips and started to crawl upright while shivering, wrapped in his blankets. Hamhua indeed. An icy fortress rose from the ground ahead. Mo Beidun set off toward it without a word, and Shang Qinghua hurried to follow. The fortress doors, laid from blocks of ice, rumbled open and closed. They met not a single person all the way down the long, deep flight of stairs until they approached a sleeping chamber. Until they approached a sleeping chamber where a few guards and demon maids stood, not daring to make a sound. Where? Yes. Shang Qinghua peeked at Mo Beijun's face. Though he was as haughty and aloof as usual, he looked somewhat more solemn than was typical. He couldn't resist the urge to ask, my king, how long will we be standing here? Mo Beijun didn't move his head, but his eyes turned toward Shang Qinghua. 7 days. Shang Qinghua was nearly knocked flat by this information. Whatever. He was very possibly right about to return home to continue shooting his airplane. What? He was very... Wait, Shang Qinghua was nearly blocked out with this information. Whatever. He was very possibly right about to return home to continue shooting his airplane. Guys... Stupid. So stupid. It's so stupid. It just catches me off guard every time. He figured he might as well use these 7 days to properly bid his farewells. After all, once he returned, there would be no use to beat him up all the time or order him... There would be no one to beat him up all the time or order him around like a beast of burden to wash clothes, fold blankets, serve tea, and carry water. After standing there for a while, he felt colder and colder. The Mobe clan's territory really wasn't suited for humans. Shang Qinghua jumped up and down in place to avoid being frozen alive into an ice statue. Mo Beijun looked at him, a smile seeming to flash through his eyes. He reached out and pinched one of Shang Qinghua's fingers. Quiet. He pinched his finger. He just... It was like all the chill in his body was sucked away via this one point of contact. Shang Qinghua felt that the cold was still cold, but it was no longer intolerable. He couldn't help but feel increasingly rueful about their upcoming separation, and somewhat loath to give this guy up. Oh. Come to think of it, even though Mo Beijun had a bit of a bad temper, was a bit bad at life skills, was a bit pampered and spoiled, and liked to beat people up a bit too much, he wasn't too bad to Shang Qinghua. Especially at this point, his benefits weren't bad and his salary wasn't bad either. Though the beatings remained a common occurrence, only Mo Beijun was allowed to beat him up. No one else was permitted to lay a finger on him. In addition, recently, Mo Beijun hadn't beaten him up very much at all. I learned that it's not normal in human courting to beat people up. I'm fine. Shang Qinghua was growing concerned about his twisted standards as to what constituted a fortunate lifestyle. What would happen if he really returned home and Mo Beijun suddenly wanted to find someone to beat up, but Shang Qinghua was nowhere to be found? When he thought about that happenstance, he felt a pang of sorrow, like the melancholy of an actor leaving after a play was complete, all the props in place, but the people long gone. Suddenly, a bone-deep chill ran... What? Suddenly... Sorry. Suddenly, a bone-deep chill returned to his body. Push them around? Push them around? What does that mean? What are you talking about? Return where? Mo Beijun said icily. Shang Qinghua finally realized that, in his sorrow, he had actually spoken his internal dialogue out loud verbatim. Now was a real time to be sorrowful. It's a classic. Mo Beijun's fingers tightened like he was about to snap Shang Qinghua's index finger in half. Now you're saying you want to leave? Shang Qinghua's face pinched in pain. No, not right now. Not right now? Mo Beijun pressed. What is it you always say to me? I'll follow my king for the rest of my life. He had said this phrase countless times, but he thought no one was taking it seriously. After a stretch of silence, Mo-Bae-Jun said, If you want to leave, then leave right now. You don't need to wait 7 days. Shang Qinghua started. My king, if I really leave, from this point forth, we'll never see each other again. Mo-Bae-Jun looked at him with the gaze of someone peering at an ant from 9 million feet above it. What makes you think I would care about that? Although over the years, Shang Qinghua had trained his face to be impervious to sword or spear, these words made his expression pinch. He still wanted to explain a bit, but the situation had played out beyond his expectations. Get out. His body suddenly flew backward, and he crashed into an ice wall, which was as solid as steel. The stab of pain only numbed his back for a moment before it spread through his guts. Mo-Bae-Jun didn't even lift a hand, didn't even spare a glance in his direction. Shang Qinghua's throat rapidly filled with a gush of warm, rusty-flavored liquid. Mo-Bae-Jun beating him up was nearly a daily occurrence, and he often told him to get out. Shang Qinghua should have been used to it, but at no other time had he been subjected to such an intense fury and loathing. Like countless times before, he crawled up from the ground, silently wiped away the blood at the side of his mouth, and gave Mo-Bae-Jun's back a subservient smile that no one could see. After standing there for a while, he tried to speak again, but Mo-Bae-Jun impatiently snarled, Get out of here. So, Shang Qinghua hurriedly got out. Honestly speaking, though no one could have known what he was thinking in the privacy of his own mind, he still felt a bit embarrassed, specifically about that fleeting thought from before concerning Mo-Bae-Jun as a friend. The Phoenix, hello. Hi, I'm good. We're reading today. We're reading this. Actually, I'm angst. I'm in angst right now. I'm in angst. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts my heart. Anyway. Shang Qinghua charged up the stairs. The guards and demon maid he had seen earlier had been driven away, and they ran even faster than him, darting out of the ice fortress like a swarm of bees. The chill remained the same, but the situation, as he left, was completely different from how it had been on his arrival. At this time, a slanted silhouette approached, coming down the stairs. Shang Qinghua turned his head, gaze briefly flitting across a pair of peach blossom eyes full of frosty light. Though this pair of eyes didn't land on him, they sent Shang Qinghua into a fit of shudders, his heels gluing themselves to the steps. Then, furtively, he turned around and followed. Once the guards had been sent out of the underground ice fortress, it had been emptied of all demons. Mo-Bae-Jun doubtless thought Shang Qinghua had obediently gotten out and thus didn't expect him to turn back. So, by the time Shang Qinghua returned to the hall in front of that sleeping chamber, he had not yet been discovered. He stopped there and shimmied up to a pillar so giant it could be encircled by 3 people, onto the ceiling rafters and found... 3 people onto the ceiling rafters and found a spot from which he definitely wouldn't be seen, where he sat down. He shimmied up a pillar? I'm sorry. Wait, this never registered in my brain before. He shimmied up a pillar so giant it could be encircled by 3 people? So he's on the ceiling. This is like, I'm literally imagining, what is it, Baldur's Gate, when you go up to the rafters and you, like, fight from up there. What is this? Oh, he's such a weirdo. He's such a weirdo little creep. I love him. They never look up. Oh my god. However, though he definitely couldn't be seen by the people below him, he couldn't see them either. What are you doing here? Mo-Bae-Jun asked in his cold and placid voice. He sounded like he was forcibly suppressing his anger. The next voice was that of an unfamiliar young man who spoke with a smile in his tone. My nephew has ascended to the throne. I came for a cup of celebratory wine. Is there something unacceptable about that? Mo Bei-jun didn't answer the question. He snorted once and replied only after a long pause. What celebratory wine is there to drink? Oh, my mix-it-up is not. Hang on, let me... skip update. Okay. Sorry. I got a head pat, but I didn't get the head pat. Okay, there we go. It should work now. Okay. After these 7 days, you'll be the real Mo Bei-jun, said the other voice. Isn't that something worth celebrating? Shang Qinghua knew both who this was and which plot arc, delayed after the original plot had been thrown into disarray, was now unfolding. Goddamn. Oh shit. Mo Bei-jun's in trouble. This uninvited guest was Mo Bei-jun's uncle, Ling Guangjun, and the one who lay in the sleeping chambers ahead was, without a doubt, the father whom Mo Bei-jun had seen only a handful of times since his birth, his body, that was. According to the original outline, after the reigning head of each generation of the Mo Bei clan died, they passed 7/10 of their martial aspect to their next generation successor. Mo Bei-jun was at an extremely critical juncture. But as Shang Qinghua had written in the original work, Ling Guangjun was using this precise occasion, the most critical and final day on which Mo Bei-jun was digesting the martial aspect, to launch a sneak attack. Because Mo Bei-jun had been lawfully determined to be the first in the line of succession, Ling Guangjun had no claim to the martial aspect, and stealing it outright would have been useless. Illegal was illegal. The ancestral lines wouldn't acknowledge him. However, if Mo Bei-jun died after he officially ascended to the throne, Ling Guangjun would be the only remaining descendant of the Mo Bei bloodline. So when the scheduled time came, the recipient of this 7/10 of martial aspect couldn't just kick back and relax. In the original work, Binga was by Mo Bei-jun's side during this acting of part... Binga was by Mo Bei-jun's side during this, acting the part of the wolf in sheep's clothing and lending him a hand along the way. Then, undercutting the Mo Bei clan after Mo Bei-jun ascended to the throne, as was only to be expected. But now Binga had hatred... What? That's not what it says. But now Binga had haired off so shamelessly... What? No! I can read. But now Binga had haired off to shamelessly torment his shizun. Haired like a hair? Like a not bunny hair? Come on. How could he have the time to bother with this? So the person Mo Bei-jun had brought to help him was Shang Qinghua's useless-ass self? Shang Qinghua desperately pulled his own hair. My king, you... What did you bring me for? I can't lift a hand. I can't carry your burden. How am I qualified to protect you? For this sort of life-and-death situation, you should obviously find a trusted confidant, your most impressive ally. So what if you had no more hope of scraping Binga off his shizun than you did of scraping burnt caramel off of a pan? At least you could borrow a few thousand black-armored generals from him. No matter how desperate you are, you can't call on me other than to make tea, carry water, and wash clothes and fold blankets. Exactly which of my other skills aren't amateur at best? Without the aid of the inextinguishable halo and plot armor Shang Qinghua had personally bestowed upon the male protagonist, at that fatal moment in 7 days, Mo Bei-jun would... You didn't bring a single person for this important occasion? Asked Ling Guangjun. Mobei-jun was silent before he coolly replied, I didn't. Then Guangjun tittered. You did, didn't you? I saw. When I arrived, I encountered someone walking out. It was that Unding Peak Lord who'd said to follow you. How did he anger you? He'd been beaten to such a state, and here I'd heard those rumors that made me thinking your temper had changed for the better. For a long time, no one spoke. Your uncle was only asking, why are you looking at me with such an antagonistic expression? Then Guangjun's voice was all smiles again. I want you to leave, Mobei-jun said bluntly. You're hurting this demon's feelings. Unfortunately, our clan has no rule to prevent others from observing the succession ceremony. What's more, I am your father's younger brother. If not for you, the one standing here today waiting for their inheritance would certainly be me. Mobei-jun seemed to know he wouldn't be able to drive Ling Guangjun away, and he said no more on the topic. Ling Guangjun, on the other hand, was immensely pleased with himself. He didn't check his mirth in the slightest. You've grown up, and you're going to be a lord now. You really have changed. You were much cuter when you were young. Gross. Disgusting. I'm gonna shift over here a little bit. Disgusting. Yes. At these familiar lines, Shang Qinghua anxiously wiped the sweat from his forehead, feeling a bit ashamed that he had written such a shameless character. This uncle even had the face to bring up Mobei-jun's childhood. Mobei-jun had lost his mother very young, and the person to whom he had most closely stuck to in his youth was precisely this youngest uncle, who wasn't much older than him. However, because of some conflicts and emotional disputes between the older generation of brothers, Ling Guangjun hadn't quite been able to begin liking this nephew of his. One time, when the other demons weren't paying attention, Ling Guangjun had coaxed this obedient little nephew out the gate and thrown him into the human realm. He let a mob of cultivator thugs give chase to the little demon, who hadn't understood a thing and lost his head out of fear, falling every few steps as he fled. Baby. Those thugs had frantically hunted him down for days and days. Bitches. Uncle has Lion King vibes. Does. Lion King vibes. Such a bitch. At the time, developmentally speaking, Mobei-jun had been roughly equivalent to a human 4-year-old child. If, after about 10 days, his dad hadn't suddenly realized that his son hadn't been following his younger brother around for quite some time, and hadn't casually made a few inquiries, Mobei-jun might have been locked up in the Huanhua Palace water prison until he simply died of fright. 4. To a demon of that age, being surrounded by a shouting crowd of humans was like being surrounded by flesh-eating, blood-drinking monsters. Imagine a human 4-year-old child getting captured and imprisoned in a nest of demons. Their reaction would be about the same. The former Mobei-jun's head was as empty as a basin, where the basin was the Sichuan basin. What does this mean? Either way, his son was stolen back in the end, more scared than hurt, and certainly not dead, so he didn't really pay the incident much mind. Bitch-ass! What? He scolded his brother a bit, and then told him to keep getting along well in the future. What a fucking bitch! I know they're demons, but goddamn. After Mobei-jun was retrieved, messy-haired and dirty-faced, he never again spoke to his formerly favorite uncle. As his age increased, he grew more and more severe until he was, in the end, unwilling to speak to anyone and held a deep abhorrence for any kind of betrayal. As Shang Qinghua mentally reviewed the melodramatic backstory of the aloof young lord he had fabricated, he also did some self-reflection. He mainly reflected on whether the demon race's cold and apathetic nature, which he had himself established, had been too inhumane. Secondly, he reflected on why he hadn't just added in a world-building line like, "No idle witnesses are permitted to be present at the succession ceremony, not even direct relations." If only he'd done that, Mo Beijun wouldn't have to be keeping watch beside his father's body and waiting for the time of inheritance, unable to leave, but without good reason to drive away Ling Guangjun. I think he has good reason. I can speak. Oh my god. I speak so well. I speak so good and great. Okay. Whoa. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Where? Reflecting on one hand while trembling with fear on the other, Shang Qinghua passed 7 whole days until finally the last arrived. After the 7 days of observance, it was time for Mo Beijun to officially inherit the martial aspect. He had very wisely yet to move and begin to transfer. However, he would need to begin sooner or later. "What is it?" asked Ling Guangjun. "Why do you hesitate?" "Because you're standing right there." "Could it be you're afraid I'll strike you unawares?" Ling Guangjun asked. "How could I? I am your uncle after all. Mobe, you have to hurry. If you don't start now, you'll miss the opportunity. There won't be another chance to salvage it. You don't need me to remind you of that, do you?" If he didn't begin immediately, the martial aspect would naturally dissipate, like a giant inheritance drifting away on the wind. But if he did begin immediately, Ling Guangjun would still be standing there, like a tiger watching its prey, unquestionably harboring ill intent. Mo Beijun's current situation afforded neither room to advance nor room to retreat. Everything was playing out like it had in the original. It was just that they were down an invincible Binke and up a useless-ass Huadi. In the end, Mo Beijun let out a cold laugh. Shang Qinghua gritted up. I need more tea. Hang on. Checking something. I might need to split this one up in 2 parts. Just because my stomach is stupid today. Whoa, my neck. Holy shit. In the end, Mo Beijun let out a cold laugh. Shang Qinghua gritted his teeth and, braving the possibility of being discovered by a demon and losing his neck as a reward, stuck out his head. Just then, a ball of blue light flew out of the sleeping chamber and enveloped Mo Beijun. But practically in the same instant, Ling Guangjun suddenly played his hand. Already on guard, Mo Beijun spared a hand to catch this treacherous strike. But he was preoccupied and thus a bit distracted. He let a wisp of demonic energy slip into his palm. This wisp of foreign demonic energy darted about inside Mo Beijun's body. Handling it would only split his attention further, and he couldn't risk growing careless. Realizing his first strike had succeeded, Ling Guangjun was wild with joy, but before he had time to advance another step, someone suddenly leapt out at him, dropping down from above. At first I wondered how there could be a guard here even after they were all sent away, Ling Guangjun said coldly. Aren't you the one who left 7 days ago? What, back to protect your master? You certainly didn't look this devoted. It was fortunate that Shang Qinghua hadn't been able to see him at first, but because as soon as he did, his legs went even weaker. Though Ling Guangjun was quite good-looking, it was that soft but treacherous type of good-looking. That pair of peach blossom eyes flashed with frosty light like poisonous needles. When he smiled, he revealed a hint of ominously pale teeth, the kind that were especially suited to tearing through raw meat. Christ, man. Shang Qinghua braced himself and stood in front of Mo Beijun. First, who's saying Qinghua? First, who said I came back to protect my master? Second, who told you he was my master? Then why are you standing in my way now? Lin Guangjun asked. I'm kicking him while he's down, Shang Qinghua said forcefully. As he continued running his mouth, he pointed a shaking hand at his own face. Take a look. He beat me into this sorry state. This nephew of yours really has a temper. Behind him, Mo Beijun spat out a mouthful of blood. It was 100% a product of pure anger towards Shang Qinghua. In all these years, the ribs I've broken could be built together, could build another Maigu ridge, and I could drown myself in the blood I've coughed up, Shang Qinghua lamented. Devoted? Toward this kind of person? This kind of demon? Who the fuck would be devoted? After how he's treated me, if I, Shang Qinghua, could suffer in silence and swallow my anger without retaliation, how could I call myself the Unding Peak Lord? As Shang Qinghua said this, he absolutely didn't dare turn back to see Mo Beijun's expression. His back was about to freeze over. Lin Guangjun laughed out loud. Mo Bei, do you hear this? I actually feel bad for you. You're doomed to be sold out and betrayed. How can you command the Mo Bei clan like this? If we really let you succeed the throne, with your disposition, wouldn't our clan forever be on the edge of collapse? You should listen to your uncle. Relax and hand the important matters to me. Why don't you just go? On the verge of achieving his cherished dream of many years, Lin Guangjun was in a magnanimous mood. He turned to Shang Qinghua and asked generously, And how do you plan to kick him while he's down? With a chortle, Shang Qinghua activated a fire spell and flung it behind him. A burst of sizzling heat hit Lin Guangjun directly in the face, and red light danced madly before his eyes. The icy Mo Bei clan loathed flame more than anything, especially this flame, which appeared not to be mundane fire, but a fire that Shang Qinghua had shamelessly asked Shen Qingzhou to make for him from a few grains of black sun tinder. A few grains of fear were mixed in with Lin Guangjun's loathing. He swiftly retreated and covered his face, somewhat astonished. I had no idea that the stupid and... This is in his head. I had no idea that the stupid and cowardly Anding Peak Lord of rumor was actually such a ruthless character, he thought. I heard that Mo Beijun was quite good to him. Who would have imagined that this guy was silently enduring it all for so many years? And the moment he played his hand, he was so vicious, using immortal flame to burn Mo Beijun alive. It won't be a simple death either. This fire would probably burn him straight to ashes. If Shang Qinghua had used this spell on Lin Guangjun at that moment, he would also be in quite the sorry state. He shuddered to think that the human might still have a few grains of that fearsome tinder. But whether he had them or not, Mo Beijun had no hope of survival. However, once Lin Guangjun was certain in his calculations and straightened his posture to look, he was instantly enraged. Mo Beijun hadn't been devoured by the raging inferno. Instead, he was shielded between clusters of flame. At that moment, Shang Qinghua hadn't thrown his handful of tinder onto Mo Beijun's body. He had drawn a large circle of approximately 10 square meters around him. The leaping and dancing black sun immortal fire encircled the two within. I have illustration to show you. Hang on. Give me a second. Scum villain. Well, honestly, it's kind of good because I have to do this anyway. Hello? Hello? Oh, finally. That took so long. I'll give her a second and you... It wasn't my fault. Reload. Oh my god. Why? Why is my computer being like this? Why is it being like this? Why is it being like this? Anyway, here's the illustration. Eee! Look at that guy. What the hell? Okay. Wee! I love to see a man in pain. Oh, it's beautiful every time. Look at him suffering and all. Oh, I love it! I love it. I love it. I think we're okay now. We should be fine. Hee. Though Mobae-jun couldn't exit the circle, neither could Lingguang-jun enter. If he attempted a long-distance attack, the fire would melt his ice spells. When he examined it again, it didn't look like an attack spell at all, but rather a protective circle. As he realized that he had been tricked, Lingguang-jun's face darkened. The vicious demonic energy that Lingguang-jun had slapped into Mobae-jun was still running rampant through his entire body and causing him trouble. He had fallen to one knee, face alternating between green and white, unable to spare the effort to give anyone a single glance. Shang Qinghua circled him, flustered, but he couldn't assist. At a distance, Lingguang-jun paced around the circle of black sunfire, sneering as he walked. I misspoke earlier. You're far more than devoted. You're practically faithful to the core. You're willing to come back and throw away your life for this disappointing nephew of mine. But I wonder, how long can your circle last? These words jabbed Shang Qinghua right in the sore spot. He had thrown all the tinder Shen Qingqiu had given him in one go, leaving not a single spare splinter. He squatted by Mobae-jun's side to frantically, but rather uselessly, cheer him on. My king, did you hear? He wants to kill me! Your uncle wants to kill me! You have to digest it faster. I really don't know how long the circle will last. Suddenly, with a giant crack of splinting stone, icy dust and frost fluttered down from overhead. Shang Qinghua lost his footing and he swayed a couple of times with the leaping flames. Only then did he see Lingguang-jun remove a hat. Only then did he... Okay, we're fine, sorry. Sorry, burpee. Only then did he see Lingguang-jun remove a hand from one of the pillars in the corridor. What? Okay. You thought that if you didn't come out, I'd have no way to get to you, he asked. He planned to collapse the ice fortress and either crush Mobae-jun to death or bury him alive. An ominous web of cracks snaked up the ice pillar. With Lingguang-jun's second strike about to hit, Shang Qinghua said hurriedly, I'm coming right now. Don't say, well, you know I'm just... So, like a long-suffering frog jumping into a deeper fryer, he slowly hopped out of the circle. Once he was out, he had no hope of getting back in. Agile as a specter, Lingguang-jun grabbed him with one hand. What's the use of you coming out alone? Withdraw the fire! In fact, Lingguang-jun was also a touch flustered. He didn't know how long it would take Mobae-jun to suppress that bit of demonic energy. If he was able to do so before the black sunfire burned out and finished digesting the martial aspect, today's rebellion would be nothing more than a giant farce. A big old frog. like in Apothecary Diaries frog or some I mean his handle is airplane shooting towards the sky. Now what can I say? I only know how to set fires, not put them out, said Shang Qinghua. Then make him come out. Okay, he'll come out in his own time. Just be patient. Well, my lord, look at the state of him. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't move. Ling Guangjun sneered, putting his hand on Shang Qinghua's solar plexus. Then say, he said amicably, if your heart were to start freezing over, would he have the sudden impulse to come out? If that kind of thing can be broken through a sudden impulse, I recommend my lord try having a sudden impulse to see if he can do just that. And then he couldn't get another word. And then he couldn't get out another word. Ling Guangjun quietly hummed an ice spell, his tune cheerful yet malicious. Mobe, your uncle really didn't expect you to have a dog who refused to betray you, even in these circumstances. Wouldn't it be a pity if you were to lose such a good hound? He called him his puppy. He called him his puppy. Near his heart grew a field of ice and snow. Shang Qinghua, lips turning purple, raised his hand. My lord... Speak. If you're going to freeze my heart like this, I can't scream aloud. It doesn't sound miserable enough. You won't get the sudden impulse that you want from him. I advise you to hit me instead. I promise I'll do my best to scream very miserably. I mean, I'll scream all right. Oh, but I'm very heavy-handed. If I can't control myself and beat you to death, then what? It's no problem. I can take it. I'm used to it after suffering your nephews. Before he could finish speaking, Shang Qinghua personally experienced how heavy Ling Guangjun's hands could be. He didn't use demonic energy, preferring to rely entirely on physical strength to attack. However, Shang Qinghua clearly heard the sound of his every broken rib, as well as the sound of his throat hissing like it was leaking air after spitting up too much blood. As his back teeth started to faintly loosen, Shang Qinghua decided that, compared to his uncle and other demons, Mo Beijun was goddamn fucking gentle, even amiable, practically a little angel. He just hitting him like a kitty, like a kitty swat all this time. Okay, we can put this away, I think. No, should we put this away? Should we put this illustration away, or should we just put it in the corner or something? I don't know. I kind of just want to keep it here, you know? It's beautiful. What did I do? Corner. Let's put it there. Whee! Okay. The longer he dragged this out, hang on. I need to breathe. The longer he dragged this out, the more Ling Guangjun's impatience inched toward fury. He stepped firmly on Shang Qinghua's back and reached up one of his arms, grinning savagely. Didn't you promise you would try your best to scream very miserably? And yet your mouth is so secure that you hadn't let out a single sound. This position had some extremely bad associations for Shang Qinghua. He hurriedly spat out the bubble of warm blood held in his mouth and screamed with great sincerity. Ling Guangjun hummed. Not bad. It's a pity, but that's still not miserable enough. I'll help you out. From Shang Qinghua's shoulder came a terrible pain of flesh and tendons ripping. He opened his mouth, letting fear drown him, but he found he couldn't make a single sound. Yet this pain didn't develop into an unsalvageable outcome. Suddenly, the arm that had been yanked behind him drooped limply down. The corner of a deep blue robe flapped in front of him, its collar billowing with wind and snow. Mo Beijun had caught them off guard, diving out of the fire circle to land a palm squarely on Ling Guangjun's solar plexus. After being waylaid by this strike, half of Ling Guangjun's chest collapsed. Demonic energy streaming out of it like a giant hole had been punched through his whole body. His heart chilled. This youngster's prior ability and the power in that strike could not be spoken of in the same breath. The delay had been long enough. Mobae-jun had absorbed all the martial aspect the Mobae clan had passed down over generations. On top of that, he no longer feared the Black Sun immortal fire. He'd leapt straight through it. Though Ling Guangjun was full of dissatisfied resentment, he was by this point likely no match for Mobae-jun. He could only hurriedly use ice to seal his wounds, transform into a stream of black wind, and steal out of the ice fortress. Should I stop here, actually? I might... Oof. There's like 5.5 pages until a scene break. I don't know if I can keep going though. Oof. My body's really struggling today, and I apologize, but that's just... Oh, the ad's starting anyway. Nata. Oof. I'm gonna have to stop here. I think it's an okay place to stop, because it's like the end of the fight, right? And we're gonna get more into it. Ah, God, it's such a short stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm listening to that TikTok a lot. I'm sorry. Oh, why? I'm too much of a sicko to keep going. Guys, coffee really fucks me up. Not even gonna lie, but I did wake up earlier today, and that's kind of contributing to this. But yeah, like my organs and everything feel extremely hot and burning, and I'm gonna go lie down. I'm a sicko, but not actually. It's just like, you know. Anyway, I'll see you later for the rest of these extras. Because you're hot or something? I should be, but I'm not. It's just my organs. The rest of my body is not hot. Okay, I'm gonna go lie down before I throw up. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Sorry this was so little. Thank you for the bits. Actually, I don't know what to do when bits happen. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what... I'm sorry. I don't know where this disrespect with the side of a potato salad. I'm sorry. I'm gonna send that I'm gonna send that TikTok in my Discord. Thank you for the name of viewer. Okay, thank you for the 150 biddies. Apple. Is that how you do it? Did I do good? I don't know. Okay. By the way, guys, I have a Discord if you want to join it. We do stupid things in there. Thanks for reading. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. I hope I feel better soon too. Terrible. Oh man. Oh, I'm getting mixed reviews now. Okay, I'll see you on Tuesday for Daggerheart on Foxy's channel, and then on Wednesday, New Year. Whoa! I don't have any plans for New Year, so I'm gonna be doing a sad karaoke. But yeah, I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you next week for the rest of this chapter. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. I'm just gonna end. We're just gonna skedaddle. Okay, have a good rest of your day. Be safe. Mask up. All that good stuff. Bye-bye.